everyone. Hopefully we won't have any technical issues. It's been a crazy last couple of recordings. We were in South Carolina with my family and the internet. We just crashed all of YouTube. So hopefully we're getting a good recording tonight. That's the fun with live. So welcome to the live version of the Happy Herbivore Cooking Show. I'm your host, Lindsay Nixon, creator of happyherbivore.com. And today we're making one of my favorite, I make these way too often, but they're my 6-ingredient black bean burgers. The recipe is on happyherbivore.com. And it also happens to be in Everyday Happy Herbivore. In that book, I call it Quick Burgers, and it's page 81. But this is so easy. I developed this recipe in a hotel room, so that's how easy it is. They take 15 minutes from start to finish. This is why I love live. Things go crazy all the time. Are we good? All right. What was I saying? Yes, I created this in a hotel room. So easy, 6 ingredients, 15 minutes start to finish. It's wonderful. So the first thing you need is a can of black beans. I've also done these with kidney beans. Not as good, but in a pinch, go for the black beans. And what you need to do, I already drained and rinsed mine, but you need to mash them around. If you have a potato masher, I have this kind, but if you have the flat surface one, that's fine. If you don't have a potato masher, you can use a fork. It just takes a little bit longer. And you can also use a food processor, but you only want to do maybe 7 pulses. Otherwise, you're going to end up with like a puree refried beans, and that's not what you want. What you want is mostly not whole beans, maybe a few bean parts, but you want it pretty well mashed. But again, we don't want refried beans. And so I've been mashing mine before to sort of save some time because you guys don't want to watch me mash beans. And so this is sort of what they look like. They really almost look a little purplish. But just really mash your beans around. Make sure, like I said, that you don't have whole beans left, but you still kind of want to have bean parts. So once you've mashed your beans really, really well, but don't puree, I really have to emphasize the puree, you can add your seasonings, and what I'm adding is 2 tablespoons of ketchup and 1 tablespoon of mustard. I love ketchup and mustard on my bean burgers, but I also like them in my bean burgers. I'm also going to add 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and this is the granulated kind, not the floury kind. It looks a little bit like sand. So I'm going to add about 1 teaspoon, but you could add more if you really like garlic. I'm also adding onion powder. Again, same, looks like sand, not floury, 1 teaspoon, and I'm using spices from Target today. I'm just going to mix that around real quick just to make sure it's kind of even and combined. So these bean burgers are what I make any night when I don't want to cook, which I'm embarrassed to say happens quite a lot. And in my new book, Happy Herbivore Light and Lean, I actually have like 4 or 5 different bean burger recipes because we make them that much because I don't like to cook that much, believe it or not, even though I write books. But I have long days at work too, and I want to eat. So this is my solution for those nights or the many different variations. Right, mix that around. So you can see it's really kind of nice and mixed. Now I'm gonna add instant oats. Instant oats are those little kind of tiny baby ones, not the whole round oats and not steel cut. And I'm adding just a handful, which is probably about 1/3 to 1/2 cup. Just get a good board. You can add more if you want it kind of an oat burger, but then it also starts to get a little dry. So you might want to add more ketchup or mustard. So I'm just mixing it around. As you can see, mix. And the secret to bean burgers, I always get emails saying my bean burgers fall apart. It's all in how you form them and put them, I lost some beans earlier, how you form them and put them on your cookie sheet for baking. And you'll see my cookie sheet is lined with parchment paper. Some people really like those sort of like silicone mats. I find that they don't always work so great with bean burgers, but if you've had luck with them, continue to use them. But I really like to go old school with my parchment paper. All right, so now you can see that it's really kind of nice and mixed. And I'm just gonna pick off 4 equal sized pieces, just 4 little balls. I guess it would be smaller than a tennis ball, but definitely bigger than a golf ball. Just 4 little balls. And so I start by making my balls so I can kind of compare to make sure they're about the same size and adjust before I flatten them. But that's just me being a little perfectionist, OCD. so you don't have to do that. All right. I'm so excited to eat these later. I've been trying, I'm gonna do a little bit of movie magic. I already have some in, and I was trying so hard not to just eat them and eat the batter before we went live. I'm so excited. All right, so here are all my, I keep losing my batter today. Here are all of my lovely bean balls, and you can see I just kind of shaped them into a ball. Now this one's a little bit too big, so I'm gonna borrow this one too. Just again, give them a nice, I like to make sure they're the same size so they cook well, but even if they're relatively in the same region of size, you'll be fine. So here's mine, and I guess comparison to a spoon, comparison to this is a very big spice container, not a good comparison. So now that mine are all nice, like I said, I really kind of pack them tight into these balls. It's a very nice, solid ball. I flatten them with my palm. And now I'm gonna look at them again, make sure there's no like hump in the middle, because you know your hand kind of has a hump. So just squishing them out so they're nice and even. And again, really making sure that they stay about the same size, that they spread about the same. And you can see mine, come on back up here, parchment paper. You can see mine are about the same size. Now, if you want to get all crazy perfectionist, you can shape them around the edges to make them really pretty and uniform and looking like a fancy burger. If I wasn't doing this live right now, they would be like lopsided. My assistant actually made them in the shape of hearts for me once. It was so sweet. Let's just give myself a little rinse real quick. These look good. My oven's been preheating at 400, so I'm just gonna slide these guys in. And I think my burgers from before are gonna be ready to be flipped in 20 seconds. Ah, yes, here is the kind of mats I was talking about. This is just one of many brands. This was a gift, and it works really great for me with a lot of things. I just don't love it a lot with my bean burgers. So now I'm gonna check out my burgers because they've been in there for 10 minutes. I actually only have one cookie sheet, crazy. So I had to lay them on my muffin pan, but it worked really well, so kudos for multi-purposing. I'm a huge minimalist, and speaking of which, I'm actually hosting a virtual minimalist declutter party challenge online. It's gonna be so fun. You don't actually have to do it online, but it's more of a, we're all gonna get together on February 1st, which is a Saturday, to clean and declutter and take a project in our home. You can learn more about that on happyherbivore.com. There's also a Facebook event. There's gonna be prizes. Everyone who's participating is getting a few chapters from my new minimalist book that's coming out. Awesome. Declutter. Let's donate some stuff to Goodwill. Okay, so these burgers are beautiful. They're really kind of golden and crusted. They no longer feel wet, like I'm touching it and my hand's not getting dirty. And they feel sort of solid. I'm gonna try to hold them up. Hopefully they won't slide. So you can sort of see my burgers. And I'm just gonna flip them over and bake them for about 5 more minutes. And you can see they just slide right on, flip it right over. I'm not getting any kind of crumbling or breaking. They're just really, I mean, I can kind of dance with them. Flip it over, one more. And these didn't even have a great flat surface. If they were on their regular cookie sheet, they'd have been even better. Oh, here we go. We'll use that mat after all. Hot. Not hot. All right, gonna slide these guys in for 5 minutes, and I'll talk quickly. Woo, okay, that is hot. For 5 minutes, 5 more minutes at 400. Or maybe if your oven runs really hot or you're at high altitude, you might wanna do it a little less. But usually it's about 15 minutes total, 12, 15. All right, let's go back in, guys. All right, well And while those cook, I'll give you guys some more ideas for really easy meals that we do. So one of my favorite things, and if you follow me on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, you know this, I love gravy. Specifically the everyday mushroom gravy in Everyday Happy Herbivore, which is where these burgers come from. And so that is often sort of like the Band-Aid that pulls our meal together. So I'll pull a grain that we have on hand. Maybe it's some cooked brown rice, leftover barley, leftover couscous, whatever kind of grain we have. I put that on the plate, maybe with chickpeas, maybe not, maybe another neutral bean like a white bean, maybe not. And greens like kale. We love kale. We eat so much kale in this house. But we also eat collards and chard and, you know, whatever's seasonal. But that's what I'll do is I'll take my grain, maybe a bean, maybe not, and some kale, usually steamed, and I'll drown it in the gravy. And it seems, you know, so simple, but it's delicious and I love it. I never tire of it. My husband eats it all the time too, and he's not a big leftovers or multiple day kind of guy, but he will eat that multiple times. And similarly, using the same kind of sauce to pull it all together idea is we'll take a grain and a bean, and again with the greens, and we'll drown it in a flavorful salsa, maybe, you know, a tomato salsa or a mango salsa, but that's just, it's an easy way to sort of pull it together and bring all the different meals together. Another option, of course, is always a burrito. And if you don't like salads, if you stick it in a tortilla, it suddenly changes everything. It doesn't feel like a salad and it's really delicious. And then you have a wrap. And I love wraps. You can really put almost anything in them. I've put sweet potatoes in my wraps, tons of different ideas to put in the wraps. Other options you can do are spring rolls, which they take a little bit getting used to after you kind of mess up one or two spring rolls, but I love a spring roll because it's basically, you know, a portable little salad, and I love them. I love them. It's so fun, and it's a great way to make a meal if you only kind of have sort of, you know, not a lot on hand. Maybe you have lettuce and a carrot, but not really else, and you're like, well, that doesn't make for a very exciting salad. But it makes for a very exciting spring roll. So that's something else we really love to do. And speaking of meals, if you weren't familiar, I have a meal plan service at getmealplans.com. And this week we actually have our weekly menu. It changes every week, but this week is all super, super easy meals. So pop on over to getmealplans.com to check it out, and you can see more. And you can always try our free 3-day sample. You can get more ideas for easy meals, but that's a great way to get more meal ideas because everything's really easy and fun and delicious. And I use them myself. My husband loves them, and you can make everything ahead, single, individual. Check it out. And with 2 minutes left on my burgers, I'm going to field a few questions. Scott?
I haven't seen any questions as of yet.
So you can type your questions into the chat on the live stream, and my husband will read them to me, and I'll answer them for you. If we have questions, maybe you guys don't. Maybe I was very comprehensive with my bean burgers today. But, I need to make this. I put my kale in my pressure cooker for a minute. You can see my pressure cooker's over there. I love kale. My new way to eat it is with hot sauce and onion flakes. It's crazy good. Do you have any questions on the live chat? No questions. Exciting. And hopefully you guys have been hearing me the whole time and everything's working. We've had so many crazy technical snafus, but that's the fun of live. Actually, I'm going to check on my burgers because I feel in my heart that they're done. I think so. Yes. So they are done. I'm super excited. Woo, there's my burger. It's so pretty. I'm just going to flip them all over one more time. Smells so pretty. Yes. Picture for Instagram and for Facebook. Try to make it stylish. There we have it. And that's it. That's our show. That's how fast these guys are. You just buzz through them in no time. So easy. You can change your spices, add some jalapeno, add some other seasonings. Just go for the goal with these guys. Make them. You'll love them. I promise. Everyone I've fed them to has loved them. Kids, husbands, picky parents, picky kids. They love these burgers. So thank you for joining me, your host, Lindsay Nixon, for the Happy Herbivore Cooking Show. This was episode 7, and I can't believe our first season is coming to an end. And that's my signal to check on my other batch of these burgers, because now I have 8 of them for yummy in my tummy. Have a great night, everyone.